Our update is brought to you by First State Bank. Here's Kevin Mooney.
Thank you, Dennis. Good morning, everyone. Our guest today is Chris Smith from the First Baptist Church. He's been here for a number of things, and today he's going to talk to us about a financial health fair that is coming up within a couple of weeks. And you have a guest that everyone should know about, so it sounds like a good deal.
Yep, we're hoping so. We're just, as a church, we were kind of looking at the state of the economy here in the United States, and we're thinking, it's time for people to start kind of looking out for themselves and take care of themselves, and this is a great opportunity to do that. On Saturday, January 19th, we're going to be hosting a workshop. It's called How to Get Out of Debt in 5 to 7 Years, including your mortgage, with the money you already make. It's going to be hosted by a gentleman named Bob Moret, and he is a financial advisor from the Denver area. He travels around the country speaking at churches and different venues. He's on the TV, he's on the radio. And his heart is basically get people free out of the bondage of debt. That's what his heart is all about.
That's good. Something similar, I would say. I've heard Dave Ramsey before. Probably something fairly similar to that.
Yeah,
right?
very similar to the same philosophy that Dave Ramsey's got. Yeah.
All right. So once again, it's Saturday, January 19th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. over at the First Baptist Church. If you don't know where that is, you just kind of head over toward the Walmart area. It's over there on Avenue I. What's your address there?
3009 Avenue I, right across from Home Depot.
Right across from Home Depot. And if folks, is there any cost to this?
There is no cost. Nope, there's no cost to this. We just want you to come. We're having pre-registration. Registration isn't mandatory, but it will help the folks that are coming, because if you do register, if you call the church, come by the church, get a packet. In that packet is a flyer, a form that you can fill out with all your debt. And if you get that into him by next Monday, get that in the mail by next Monday, he will have it here when he comes on that Saturday, and he will have your financial plan laid out for you, how you're going to get out of debt. Now, you can do that the day of the seminar, but that'll, getting it done in advance will eliminate having to do all the paperwork while you're sitting there listening to him. So that's an option. So if you do call the church, 635-2548 is the church number. Call the church and swing by and get a registration packet. You can get that done in advance as well.
All right, and I would imagine Mr. Moret probably thinks that the biggest reason most people are in debt is credit cards for the most part.
Definitely. Home mortgages is something that's the American dream. We've all got a home mortgage, but the extra debt is what gets us in trouble. The things we probably maybe don't necessarily need, and that's what this is. This isn't a financial seminar or some kind of get-rich-quick thing. This is basically all this is a program to eliminate the debt you already have with the money that you're already making.
All right.
That's what it's about.
So 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the First Baptist Church on Saturday, January 19th.
Mm-hmm.
And attendees are also asked, it says here, to bring a couple of cans of food for the local food ministry. If you've got that available, that would be nice too, right?
Yeah. That's all we're asking. If you could bring a couple of cans of food in, we're going to take all the donations we get to the Chuck Wagon Church to their food pantry. So we are asking that. I'm glad you mentioned that.
And it also says here, am I right, a continental breakfast and childcare be provided?
We are, excuse me, and that's where the pre-registration will help us a little bit, because we are going to have a continental breakfast. We're going to open the doors at 8:30. Childcare will be provided as well. So it'll help us, obviously, to know how many to plan for that. So, yeah, we are going to provide those things as well.
All right. Some of the other things you guys are doing over at the First Baptist Church, you have the Firefighter Ministry that's going on. And that's working out really well. You and Carissa are kind of behind that. Carissa, I guess, is behind a lot of it. But
yeah, she is.
But that is working super. Kind of describe how that formed and how that's working out.
Sure. When the local Red Cross office closed their doors, Carissa, of course, being on the fire department for years, saw the need in the community. Who's going to help these folks when there's a fire or a disaster of some sort? And she kind of prayed about it, brought it to the church, and came up with the idea of this firefighter ministry to take the place of what was being done there. And well, I'll tell you, we didn't know at first how it was going to work out, but the community and other churches and individuals have just jumped right on board there. And I'll tell you, we've been really blessed and been able to respond to, I know it's been over a dozen different calls she's been able to respond to and set people up in hotels and help them with temporary housing and just emergency supplies that people need when they have a fire or a disaster. So it's been a real blessing. We've just been really thankful for the community support, the church support, and what's been able to be done there.
Yeah. And if people want to donate, they can just call the church and do that. You can donate money. You can donate supplies. What type of supplies, if people want to donate, would they look around their home?
What I always tell people is just think about if you had a fire, what would you lose? What would immediately? What would you lose? What would you need? It was in that house,
Right.
and that's kind of what we ask people to donate. Mostly just household supplies, hygiene items, things like that. You know, when there's a fire, there's more specific needs, clothing and things like that. And we'll go with whatever size of clothing those folks
Right,
would need.
right.
But at the time, just basic items that you'd need. And people don't realize that when they're out of a home, you don't have shampoo, you don't have toothpaste, you don't have towels and washcloths, and so that's kind of what we ask. And cash donations can be made, sent to the church. We have an account at Platte Valley Bank, and they're aware of that, so people can go in there and just to make a donation to the Firefighter Ministry if they'd like to do that as well, or they can just simply call Chris at 631-9674.
631-9674.
Yep, and there is information on our church webpage also, firstbaptistscottsbluff.com. There's a link to our Firefighter Ministry on the webpage.
All right. So people can do that. I know you guys got a little contingency funding from the United Way, but your program is doing so well, you probably ask for more, but your program's really kind of taken off by itself, hasn't it?
It has. We've just been really blessed.
All right. One of the other things they're doing, this church does a lot of different things for people, is Hunters for the Hungry. Now, I haven't heard about this before until you mentioned it outside, but apparently some of the processing people, the people that process the meat that hunters bring in, they didn't really have any way to get rid of some of that extra meat until a law had to be recently passed. Am I right?
That is my understanding, and I guess a lot of that meat was just going to waste, or guys couldn't donate the meat to people, and if somebody had a bunch of extra meat, the processing centers couldn't use that and donate it to folks. So the legislature did pass a law where that could be done, and we've been really blessed to partner with them and receive some of their meat as well. I want to just give them a big thank you, because tell you what, you get 50, 60 pounds of deer hamburger, that could feed a lot of people.
That's
so
right.
We've been really, it's been great to be able to partner with them and be able to distribute that as well.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, you're getting some tonight.
Yes,
apparently,
we are.
huh?
Yes, we are. We got the call, and we're going to be receiving some this evening. So.
Yeah, that's great. All right, once again, let's go over just briefly what people need to do on the financial health fair if you can. Pre-register before Monday. Give the church a call and get your information in, right?
Yes, and like we said, pre-registration isn't mandatory. I mean, if you don't register, we still want you to come, but it'll benefit everybody involved if you can. So call the church, 635-2548. If nobody answers, just leave a message. We'll get back to you right away and make sure you get your packet.
All right, and the Financial Health Fair is Saturday, January 19th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. They have a little continental breakfast ahead of it, and they'll provide child care if you need that. So there's really no reason if you need this particular service to make sure you get in there and take advantage of it. It's absolutely free with Bob Moret.
Yes.
And we appreciate it, Chris. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for having me.